Okay, so this is a fight from 1999. This happened in Japan, and it's Akira Maeda, who is a Japanese pro wrestler, versus Aleksander Karelin, who is a multiple-time Olympic and world champion in Greco-Roman wrestling. And beyond that, I believe that I think there was about a 10-year period there where Aleksander Karelin was undefeated. He won, I think it was like 5 back-to-back Olympics and 5 back-to-back world championships in Greco-Roman wrestling. And he was known for being just not only absolutely massive, but beyond that being just an absolute tank of a human. I mean, his nickname was the Experiment, which I guess is, I don't know, making a reference to possibly Russia's use of performance-enhancing drugs, and perhaps this guy is the result thereof, or maybe he's just the result of, I don't know, who knows, selective breeding or who knows what. But I mean, the guy is just massive. And the thing is, when you watch him compete, he does a move that I know of called the reverse body lift, where the person is like laying on their tummy and he gets his hands around their belly, facing their, their bum and their legs and stuff. And he will like pick them up and effectively and this is like a 300-pound person that he's lifting. He himself is like, pushing 300. And imagine being able to get your arms around a 300-pound person facing with their, with your face near their bum, and then you pick them up so their back swings out, and then you plant them down in their back. That was his signature move, and I believe he does it in this fight to Akira Maeda a couple times. I'm not sure if this fight is a work or a shoot, so to speak, and that terminology means a work is a fight that is choreographed, and a shoot is a fight that is not choreographed, and it's a real fight, which is why some fighters, I don't know if they still call themselves that, but back in the day they called themselves shoot fighters, which means we're really fighting. Like Ken Shamrock back in the day referred to himself as a shoot fighter. The thing about pro wrestling in Japan is it looks quite real sometimes. That's why, I mean, look at that. I honestly don't know if this is a real fight or a choreographed fight. But I'll tell you this, man. You got to be one tough cookie to agree to get, suplexed by Aleksander Karelin. You know what I mean? I can't imagine that Akira Maeda was sitting backstage going, you know what? I'm okay with this guy throwing me on my head a bunch of times, Then again, you got to be a lunatic to do a real fight against Aleksander Karelin as well. I mean, look, he's mauling him like a damn grizzly bear here, And it looks like this is being done under pancrase rules, maybe, because Maeda's wearing those, I refer to them as hooker boots, you know what I mean? It's the shin pad, the knee pad, and Karelin's just wearing his wrestling shoes, which means he's not wearing the shin pad, so I think he's not allowed to kick, but kicking is not really his forte, It's throwing people all over the place. And I believe there's a part in this fight where he gets Maeda up off the ground and sends him flying at least once, so we'll look forward to seeing that. But I've heard many people talk about, hey, what if, Aleksander Karelin was in the UFC, or what if he fought here, what if he fought there? And as far as I know, this is the only time he fought outside the confines of his sport of Greco-Roman wrestling. And like I said, that's the only time I know of it. If you guys know of other fights he had, feel free to put them in the comments or whatever. But I think this is a real fight. And the only reason Karelin doesn't finish this guy is he doesn't really know any finishing moves. He only knows Greco-Roman wrestling. And there's no submissions in Greco-Roman wrestling. I mean, in Greco-Roman, you can't even touch the person's legs to do takedowns. It's all upper body wrestling. And again, I'm no wrestling expert. I mostly know a bit about jiu-jitsu and MMA, but But anyway, I mean, I'm looking at this thinking this is a real fight. And the only reason Maeda's not getting submitted is because Karelin doesn't really know submissions, but he knows this kind of stuff. You know, how to overwhelm people and... see, look, even there. I'm surprised. Look at Maeda's going for a leg lock here. I mean, that was a bad move. He should probably gone for a choke. But I mean, again, what the hell do I know? Is this a... Yeah, see there. That's from Pancrase rules. If someone puts you in a submission hold and you grab the ropes, see, and he's got the 5 chances. If you grab the ropes 5 times, you're out. You know what I mean? So I guess technically Maeda's winning right now. You know, but I think we're coming up on that part where Karelin suplexes him or throws him all over the place. But you can see that Maeda just flops to the mat so easily that Karelin doesn't really have the chance to throw him to the mat because Maeda's dropping to the mat like he's, you know, full of whiskey on a slippery road or something. You know what I mean? And, you know, doesn't seem to be trying to get to his guard. I don't know what he's trying here. Oh, here we go. This is there's a nice hip toss, you know. I don't know what it's referred to in, maybe in Greco-Roman it's called a hip toss. You know, in Judo it's called ogoshi, I believe, you know. And for those of you that don't know old Pancrase rules, is when you were standing you could slap, because they're not wearing gloves, so you can't punch, but you can slap. Oh, here we go. See this? Look at this. That was sort of his technique. That was his signature move. That was kind of the reverse body lift. That's what he would do to guys like twice the size of Maeda. You know? He would do that to guys that were like over 300 pounds, which just shows how strong this dude is, you know? But anyway, like I was saying, Pancrase rules. Standing, you can slap. If you're wearing the hooker boots, you can kick. And then on the ground, you can punch the body and slap the head. Although most people didn't do it. It was considered rude to do it on the ground, you know? And you can do submissions on the ground and stuff. And the fact they were wearing shoes and stuff, it made leg locks much higher percentage, you know what I mean? They were all greased up and strong, but wearing these, like, you know, boots and stuff, which is why you saw back in the day in Pancrase, you saw so many heel hooks and toe holds and knee bars and stuff, because that's effectively the only place they're not as slippery as a fish, you know what I mean? And here Karelin's trying kind of a head and arm choke, you know, and Maeda's countering it by, you know, I call it answering the phone where you know, you do this. Hello there, how are you? You know, it's not really a super high percentage defense to the head and arm, you know, because there's other ways to get around it and stuff. You know, when the guy's answering the phone, you can grab his wrist and do a wrist lock. You can pull his arm away from his head and do kind of like a shoulder lock, you know what I mean? Plus, you can kind of still do the head and arm choke. Here he is doing his reverse body lift. Bear in mind, I think Maeda is like 250, 260. Like, he's a big dude, you know? I haven't Googled it or whatever, but, you know. Karelin himself, I'm pretty sure, is 300, you know? And, look at that. He just throws him around, you know? And again, I mean, part of me thinks this is a choreographed fight. Part of me thinks maybe no. I kind of can't tell, you know? I have some other footage of Japanese pro wrestling where you're like kind of shocked that anyone would agree to have this done to them. You know what I mean? You know? I mean, at least in like North American pro wrestling with Hulk Hogan and whoever, you know, you can kind of see how they're like sort of pulling their punches and yeah, they're getting hit with chairs and stuff, but it's not like this. You know what I mean? In Japan, pro wrestling looks a lot more real than it does in... like, they're really slapping each other. Look at that. Those are real knees. You know? There's Karelin trying a shoulder throw. You know? Now Maeda's trying to choke him there, and Karelin just flips him off, you know? You know what I mean? Oh, was he neck cranking him there? Oh, he put his foot up on the thing. I think Karelin was putting him in the neck crank, and Maeda put his foot up on the ropes. Maybe. I don't know. For whatever reason, they're standing again. Maeda's gone back to kicking him, and Karelin is showing his... Yeah, see, look. 1-1, I think it is right now. He escaped there. You know? Yep. Yuppers. I think of wrestlers, Karelin is the most decorated to ever compete in... Well, I was going to say mixed martial arts. This is more Pancrase rules, but I mean, like, you know... I think the guy that beat him Rulon Gardner, I think his name is, competed once in Pride against a Japanese cat that had won the gold medal in judo. Yoshida, I think it was. I think that's who it was. But but still, man, like I said, Karelin won I think it was 5 back-to-back Olympics and never even had a point scored on him. And then I think the reason he lost is there was some weird rule they had made where, like, if you, like, release your grip, you lose a point. It was like a tie against this other cat, Rulon Gardner, and then, like, he like, released his grip, so the other guy won, and Karelin wasn't really familiar with that new change to the rule or something along those lines, you know? But getting back on here, I mean, like, you can see that Maeda's just getting, you know, physically dominated, like, and Karelin's just, you know, doing what he's trained to do, which is not defend kicks, obviously, you know? But I think he's going to suplex him here, in theory. This is going to be another hip toss. There you go. You know? It's funny to see guys who are experts in a certain sport apply it to a fight where there's fewer rules. You know what I mean? And, oh, look, Maeda's defending the neck crank again by putting his foot up on the ropes. So now, I guess Karelin has 2 and Maeda has 1, or something like that. You know? But like I was saying, it's fun to see people who are, like, very good at certain things. Whether, I mean, in this instance, it's throwing, obviously. Look at that. See what I mean? But very inexperienced in other aspects. You know, in this case, it would be, you know, the striking and the submission offense and submission defense, you know? But, you know, good luck keeping it on the feet against this guy. You're going to get thrown. He is going to throw you. You know what I mean? And submissions, not exclusively, but largely, are done from positions of superiority. Mount and back and what have you. When you're fighting a cat like this, good luck getting in positions of superiority. You know what I mean? I mean, that's why back in the day, Hoist Gracie was able to submit Dan Severn, but he did so from, like, off his back, from his guard. You know what I mean? And I don't know much about Akira Maeda. See there, I think this maybe is a choreographed fight. He looks a little too stunned. But then again, I mean, Jesus, you're wrestling Aleksander Karelin. Who wouldn't be stunned? You know what I mean? But my point is, my knowledge of Akira Maeda, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a sweet guard. You know what I mean? I think he's just a larger, older Japanese fellow here that's getting, you know, getting manhandled by Karelin, who's just, you know, doing what he's been trained to do. Just throw people to the mat and then just, oh, there it is. Oh, that one's not as big. Still. You know? Can you lift a 250-pound guy off the mat like that? I can't. You know? These days I have trouble lifting my kids. And look at this. Karelin's lifting and throwing around an old big Japanese guy. You know what I mean? They both look fairly fatigued. You know, but maybe that's just a sign that this is a choreographed fight. You know what I mean? In real fights, you don't see people get fatigued like that and have sudden comebacks. You know what I mean? Like a second wind. Or maybe, I was going to say maybe you do, but I've seen enough MMA. You kind of don't. You know what I mean? You know how in wrestling people will be like tired and then they'll be like, oh, he's coming back to life again, you know? That doesn't happen in real fights. You know what I mean? Your cardio is your cardio, you know? It's funny though how, like, you can develop cardio, that you have good cardio in certain aspects. You know what I mean? Like, I did jiu-jitsu years ago with certain guys who were, like, pretty high-level kickboxers, and they could go all day kickboxing. But then wrestling, or doing jiu-jitsu with me, they got tired right away. You know what I mean? Oh, is this the end of the fight? Oh, there you go. Aleksander Karelin won the fight, I guess, by submission attempts or whatever. Anyway, oh, look at that. That's a nice thank you for not breaking my neck, you know? I still don't know if that was a real fight or choreographed. Put your opinion in the comments below and tell me what you think, because, you know, I'm leaning towards choreographed. I'm thinking that wasn't a real fight. But damn, they do a pretty good job of making it look like a real fight, don't they? You know, or at least they're trying to. You know, I have a couple other videos of Japanese pro wrestling that, you know, it's clearly choreographed, but God, suplexes, you're getting suplex on your head and stuff. Who agrees to that? You know? Craziness. Anyway, if you have any thoughts about this or about whatever, just let me know.